is do me a favor, stay connected, really, seriously. Because I know that we're all facing some financial hardship right now. I know we're facing a lot of movement, life hardships as well.
Hey everyone, my name is Raymond Chow again from EO Malaysia. I'm your host for the EO APAC podcast series named Sustaining APAC. Join me as we listen to EO members across APAC and their stories of how they're getting through these times. It's definitely a difficult time now. How they've gotten through many crises before. What are they innovating in their industries? And just really how are they leading in this crisis? Lockdown. Right, this word, and I was just talking to Rod about this word of lockdown. It's really a very heavy and a dreaded word. It almost seems like it's a word that signifies being trapped or in prison, right? But in today's context, it is used for one main purpose, and the purpose is safety. And a lot of us are trying to adapt to this new norm. A lot of us are probably working harder than before, getting into more video calls than we ever had before. Not understanding what is day and night anymore. Some of us are changing from our night pajamas to our day pajamas every single day. And then laundry is just pajamas. That's it. Right?
Yep, that's it too, buddy boy. That's it too.
Right. So today, I'm really privileged to have with me Rod Sinclair. I'm sure a lot of us know Rod from his very famous Forum Bites video that he does. He has been an EO member for 14 years. He's also a restaurant franchisee, a YouTube creator, a podcaster, and an adventure seeker. I want to ask you more about that, right, Rod? He has held multiple leadership roles in EO, focusing on, obviously, we know Forum and team management. And if you have never seen a Forum Bites video, I really don't know what's wrong with you in EO, right? All right. Hi, Rod.
How are you, mate? Thank you for having me, mate.
No problem, right? Really, really nice to have you today. So maybe, Rod, could you maybe just share a little bit about yourself or just introduce you for some people that may have not seen you before?
Gotcha. Okay, so to be clear, as I said, I'm an actual restaurateur, so I've actually got some actual McDonald's franchises. I'll be doing Forum Bites now for around about 3 years with EO. That was led from some different leadership roles that I did within EO, the Forum Director role. I was also, by the way, before that, Forum Chair, President, moderator, all the way through the leadership roles. And when it comes down to the YouTube items that I pulled together, you're right, it's primarily focused on the forum. It was primarily focused at the very, very beginning for the moderators, but it's sort of expanded from there as the moderator actually requested some topics. And mate, it's when it comes down to the adventure, mate, when it comes down to those things, funny enough, I've done most of them with EO, funny enough. But yeah, it's primarily me, mate. I like experiencing things for the first time. And as you know, with EO, that's practically a definition about a lot of the experiences. Mate, I've been to China, the Great Wall with EO. I've been to Nepal, the base camp with EO. I've been to different places, Harvard. I went to MIT. I went, all with EO. Yeah. And funny enough, EO's fed that need for me. I'm a bit, as you said before, locked down now, as you could tell now. But yeah, mate, that's primarily, man. I'm just been involved with EO. Or, as I said, when I first started in business, really.
Yeah. So you mentioned the dreaded word, right? You mentioned lockdown. How are you?
Yes.
How are you? What's happening in? So you are from Perth, right?
Yes, got it. From Perth West. So we're in level 3 lockdown or movement control, as I've learned is a better way of putting it, mate. But yeah, so in other words, most businesses are closed. There's a limited number of people who can do, and it's a common theme around the planet. Some businesses are open, some businesses are critical. Most movement is actually restricted, which makes sense. But it has raised some challenges for some people, including, of course, forums, obviously, and businesses. Yeah. But yeah, mate, we're currently there, and it looks like most of the population are following it, which is good, actually, which is good.
But what are you doing from a business standpoint then, with this whole movement control or lockdown or level 3 lockdown, right? In Australia.
Yeah, see, I'm really lucky that I've been, this virtual world, of course, with Forum Bites and EO for quite some time. And the one thing is as within my business, I've always tried to, limit the amount of meetings. Let's limit the amount of meetings we don't lead. Let's only have ones where we're absolutely critical. And what I'm finding with Zoom phone calls is I'm finding that I still need the same number of critical meetings, team meetings, whatever, daily huddles, whatever you've got. But also I've had to increase the number of meetings just to have contact with our people together, because, I have different units who are working, but they're not allowed to see each other because I have to be able to have plan A, plan B if someone gets sick. So the direct contact isn't there. So I've got to literally feed through to my people excuses, I suppose, to get together. Like, because I'm in a 24/7 business, we don't have Friday drinks, but we do have things like our get together primarily from the point of view of a weekly basis with our senior managers. I've got just a time when I get onto Zoom here and I just sit here. And if anyone turns up, awesome, we have a chat. And if we don't, they don't. But we don't chat about the business. We only chat about them. And same thing also with forum members. I'm just making phone calls to them just to have a chat like this, for example, just to stay connected, because this will end, but we've got a lot of stuff to get through first, though.
I personally feel that this is going to be some form of a new norm. Like, just like you having a level 3 lockdown, we are experiencing in Malaysia now the movement control order. So all of us have to be at home, and we have limited restaurants or places that we can go to just to take away, right? Incidentally enough, in the last 2 weeks, I've just learned a new norm, which is I still have Friday drinks with my mates. I still have drinks with the EO members, but it's over Zoom, right? We all bring our own drinks, right? We pour our own drinks over a Zoom call, and we can actually still have drinks together, but over a Zoom call. I mean, this is totally mind blowing, right? I never would have thought I would do this before this couple of weeks.
Right? Mate, it's totally. I've seen some instances where just not only do you share drinks together, but you also maybe share the same drink together. Like, I've seen some people actually mixing cocktails. So they all have the same ingredients, and they all have to mix the cocktails to then see necessarily, do you like it? Do you not like it? Who do you think made the best? Primarily, once again, to raise the connection level, because you and I both know, okay, Zoom's good, Zoom's good. Getting together is good, but it's not the same connection. But you've got to try and work out ways to do it. You were saying there before about, your pajamas. We do the same thing. I think we try and declare one pajama day in our family each week now. And that includes my grandparents, everyone.
Wow.
Right. To try and make it so, in other words, everyone's in pajamas, or, just to link everyone together. Because, mate, it's the new norm. I tend to agree, mate. Yes, things will start to go back to normal in other parts, but I think some of the other parts will stay this way, mate. Will definitely stay this way.
I think it's really, we have to really dig into a lot of creativity now, right? Because we are limited by space. We're limited about the things we're supposed to do. Our weekend vacation planning is, should we go into the living room or should we go into the bedroom, right? So I think a lot of creativity needs to come up. Yeah, and I find that as well with me. Right. What about forum? Have you been doing virtual forum meetings and all that? How has that changed? Has that changed anything with regards to forums, do you think?
Mate, definitely. And funny enough, I only had my forum 2 days ago, and I got an idea to run straight back into my business before, and I'll share with what we did in our forum to get that. But yeah, forum's different. So we are definitely having our forum still once a month, without doubt. Same day, same time, the normal stuff of forum. But we're also doing a weekly get-together on Fridays. Whoever can turn up. If only a couple can, fine. There's no must-dos. There's just a regular, once again, catch-up, just like we're doing with our people. We also naturally have our WhatsApp group, just to stay connected. But one of the things that I actually saw was a really good activity. Yes, okay, you've got your updates and your 5% and your deep dives, all the normal things. But one thing as well as what we had was our moderator thought, why not try and do different? Okay, now we're facing a different environment. What ideas have we got for Joe, Bill, Jack, whatever business they're in? Do you think, from an outsider's point of view, do you think they could do to make their business thrive in this environment? So in other words, I got outside perspective from many different industries of what they think I could do in my business, just as ideas. 2 of them I've already implemented, and it was their ideas, not mine. They just came up with the ideas of doing them. And there is ways that you can assist each other outside the norm, but you've really got to think outside the box. It's something which it's challenging.
Yeah.
The connection. I mean.
So I love that idea, but is that borderline advisory?
Oh, correct. That's a good point. Telling them what to
right?
do. That's
Mm,
right. And it really comes down to the way that I look at it is that it's no one told me you should do this, you should do that. No.
mm,
What they
mm,
did was they asked a question. For example, Rod, could you organize something for birthday parties for your kids, for example, who couldn't come in? You know, they asked the question. I said, I don't know, but I'll have to have a look. Routine. So there was
mm,
no telling what to do. You're totally right. There was just questions. And it was
mm,
just questions along the lines of, as someone outside the industry, could you do this? Because they're usually my customers, and also vice versa too. So I'm getting from a customer's perspective, definitely not a telling perspective. Don't worry,
mm.
I'm a absolute gestalt nuts with that type of stuff. I wouldn't
Yeah,
allow that to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Allow that to happen. But yeah, no, it's just highlighting that you can think of different ways of engaging with each other. I think deep dives are definitely a must. I think
Mm,
the actually, the 5% reflections, I think
yep.
sending those out early and then being able to read them and digest them, so therefore you can get into them and sort of be up to date before the meeting. Because
Mm,
sharing screens is good, but if
yep.
you're prepared for it, because I'm sure you're like me, if you've tried to do a 3-hour Zoom call, it's
Oh
hard,
man.
mate.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's hard. And eyes sitting down, it's hard. And okay, I know you can throw in breaks every 45 minutes. It's hard. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Because especially my eyes, mate. So what we try to do is just try and get the same outcome with less time, even if we have to do multiple meetings instead of one big long one. But primarily the foundations of our forum is still there. We're just
Mhm.
tweaking how to get the same delivery. That's all, mate.
Yeah. I find I agree with you, right? The first time we did a virtual forum meeting, it was actually an emergency forum, right? And someone had to have an emergency, but the movement control order is in. We can't meet, so we had to do that. The biggest challenge for us was the time, right? Because in an emergency forum, the structure kind of just relaxes a little bit, right? And it's really focused on that one person that's doing the presentation. But getting through that and still being focused on that person, um, not because if you're on a laptop, things are popping up, right? On the laptop, and just really
Yep.
be disciplined to really close everything and just be focused on a Zoom call. That was really tough. That
Mate,
was really tough.
it's very difficult, and some small things that I've noticed over the time. Do you know how? Let's say you have seven
Mm,
people on the call. Let's say you share the screen of whatever they're talking about. Their update or their 5% reflection or whatever they're facing. You may notice their faces go whoop. So therefore,
mm,
you aren't
mm,
connecting with someone. So what I'm trying to make sure everyone has, without breaching confidentiality, making sure everything's safe and so on, is people have it beforehand. So when someone's making a presentation on their issue, let's say an emergency forum,
yep.
it's them talking, not a screen share and a little head talking. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
To
definitely.
keep the connection. Because mate, my eyes, I'm mid-40s, buddy. My eyes, I've got to get glasses. I'm just putting it off. I'm just typical, mate. But I know that if I try and read something on the screen and I can't see it and it's pixelated, you know what I mean? It
Mm,
just
mm,
makes it difficult to get connection. But mate, I agree. Firstly, hats off for doing the emergency meeting. Even in a lockdown, you still pulled it together, which is great.
mm,
But yeah, you're right. You do have to tweak it slightly to make sure that the connection is still there. What I
yeah.
normally do, mate, is the way people are sitting down. I have a Zoom phone call I'm managing literally this afternoon.
Mm,
Every 30 to 45 minutes, everyone must stand up. Must
mm,
stand up.
mm,
Primarily because it stops, the blood from pooling. It gets you up and about, just to get the people connected, as well as allows your eyes to stop focusing at this level and maybe focus on another level, just so you don't, you can still not get tired eyes, which I do. But it's a difficult one, mate. It's not easy.
yeah.
Not easy.
I guess at the end of the day, it's about managing energy, right? So I think we just have to be really just more conscious about managing our own energy. It's really very easy to get sucked into this and just feel depleted at the end of the day because we're just getting through so many Zoom calls, so many video
Oh,
calls, right? I
mate,
think
it
it's just
is without
managing our
doubt.
energy, yeah, right? Standing
Mate,
up every so often and so on, yeah.
yep. And it's something which, because of the last Forum Binds video, one of the tips I said was to have, okay, you've got your moderator and you've got all your normal people and your timekeeper who, holds their phone up, when you over time, those type of things.
Yeah.
But it's something which, as well as I've found helpful, is to have an actual meeting, a meeting moderator or a meeting manager, someone who's primarily there, to manage small things like is everyone muted? The small things. Is everyone actually focused? When they're looking at the screen to make sure everyone's off, make sure there's not like an empty seat, which I do have that from time to time. Plus also make sure no one's doing this, those type of things, just to make sure everyone stays present. But also on the flip side though, when they see it coming in, they tell the moderator, okay, it looks like everyone is getting a little bit distracted or a little bit antsy. We need a break. Because as you know, the moderator is so focused on the agenda and outcome and timing and sometimes you need someone outside just to make sure everyone remains focused. Normally, it's 45 minutes, but it could be 30 minutes. It could be 20 minutes, knowing entrepreneurs, mate. Me, I can find it hard to sit still. So it could be even less.
It's probably 10 minutes for me.
Yeah.
Probably that could be a good role for the co-moderator, right? To play that role, like a second trainer or something, right?
Yeah. So it's just, it's not trying to catch people out, tell them they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because as you and I both know, when you're in a room and you see their full body, you read body language. You know that. You read, are they closed? Are they open? Are they engaged? Are they not? As you can see my head. It's really difficult to work out whether people are engaged. That's why you need, especially when it's all shrunk down and there's like 8 or 10 people on the screen. That's why having someone there to look at that's important. That's what I've found, at least, mate.
Yeah. Do you do like so we have forum meetings once a month, right? And you just mentioned, I just picked it up, that you do Friday drinks with the forum. Is there a reason why you do it? So we are thinking of instead of once a month now, since we're all at home, we would do every 2 weeks. We'll have a forum meeting every 2 weeks. Is there a reason why you do the Friday drinks or more often?
Mate, the reason why is the first thing I'd say is whatever works for your forum, do it. You know what I mean? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever works. And when it comes down to our forum, what we've got is our forum, the updates, 5% and so on is quite full on and agenda driven currently for once a month. And then the catch up, I suppose, for the drinks is just us to catch up to see how things are going, see what's happening and so on. If there's an emergency forum needed, based on those catch-ups, we can then have not an actual allocated time to do it because it's already in our diary for the catch-up drinks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It also means we can substitute it just in case. So we aren't at a stage where we feel like we need to have multiple forum meetings in 1 month, but we have the ability to because we now have it in our diary anyway. That's really how we've tackled it. But man, I'm the first to say, whatever works. In all seriousness, whatever works, really, whatever works. Some people say, oh, should I do a morning meeting or an afternoon meeting? I said, well, it depends who's available. That's what it comes down to. It's just, that's all it is, mate. In my opinion, if your forum is getting what they need with whatever you're putting in place, keep doing it.
But so I think at the end of the day, it's there's 2 components to it, right? So one is the technology, which I think most of us are using Zoom. And second is to understand the discipline that's needed, right? I think in my first virtual forum meeting, one of the topics that came up was how do we actually understand the confidentiality and safety in a remote location? And this is not just for forum, right? It is probably in our team meetings. How do we instill that sense of security or safety? So for us, it's really just, so what we do is, it may sound silly, but each of us basically just takes our camera and just do a 360 circle, right? To show that, hey, you know what, guys, I'm alone.
Mate, it is your definition of demonstrating ready to engage. I love that idea. Look, everyone, like if I turn my computer around, I'll show you, no one's in my office, just so you know. But I like that because as you know, at the beginning of every meeting, you say, is everyone ready to engage? Does everyone have to turn off their phones? Does anyone need an emergency? And you remind them about confidentiality. You're physically reminding them that you can be confident. I love that idea, mate. Look, I'm by myself. Because you're right. I have seen people have Zoom phone calls where they're talking here, they go on mute and they look away and they start talking. Oh, like seriously, not a good idea. But mate, I love that idea. Love that idea.
Yeah. I think it's just to instill that, although it seems silly from our end, but I think just every little thing counts now, right? Like what you mentioned, right? We are all seen in this little passport size photo box now, right? And what can we do, right? And forum is so sacred to us. Forum is all about confidentiality, and we don't want to lose that confidentiality.
totally. It's something which I see as something which has been important to people.
Mhm.
Right now, in my opinion at least, it's essential to people. And breaking trust in a forum in the past has been something which you must avoid. Right now, having confidential, having it secure is paramount, because so many
Mm.
people are going to need everyone to lean on as we face these times, mate.
Yeah.
And trust and demonstrating it, especially in this world, is something which is important. I also recommend to people as well, headphones are a must, primarily because then if someone hears, if they hear you, not them. That makes sense.
Mm. Yes,
Um,
definitely.
so, and that's not necessarily primarily about me. That's primarily you knowing no one's going to hear what you're going to say but me, which
Mm.
is once again another example of why. And those small things where in the past would probably seem a little bit overkill, in my opinion, are now a must do. Must do.
Mm. Okay. All right, Rod, we are almost about time. Any final tips from a work from home perspective or your sharing or forum?
No, the only thing I would say to anyone, and
Mm.
it's funny enough, I've said it in the last two forum bites, is do me a favor, stay connected.
Mm.
Really, seriously. Because I know that we're all facing some financial hardship right now. I know we're facing a lot of um, movement, life hardships as well. My next worry, of course, is the mental health of everyone, to make sure we all get through this together. The only thing that really is keeping me going right now, mate, is I know it's going to end. I don't know
Yeah.
when, and that's the
Mm.
problem, but I know it's going to end. But the biggest thing that I'm trying to do personally is to make sure I talk to as many people as I can so everyone gets through the other side. Then we take care of business. You know what I mean? It all goes back to business. But everyone gets through. And staying connected is critical to your forum, to your EO, to your family, to anyone. That's the only thing I'd say to them. Just stay
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. Just it reminded me, Rod, a couple of days ago, I was doing a podcast with George Gunn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he shared something that I thought was kind of amazing, and I've been doing it ever since. So he says he actually practices that he sends a message to 10 people every day, right? Just every day he sends a message to 10 people, just asking somebody, just showing compassion and care. I think in
Great.
these times, a lot of us probably have taken care of our safety, right? But I think the next thing we need is love.
Yes.
And you know what? I thought it was brilliant. So I've started messaging 10 people every single day, and I get at least 70 to 80% replies back. And then a conversation happens. And then it's just the sense of knowing that we're all here, we're not alone, because it's very easy to feel alone in this home, right? Yeah. So
Mate,
that's
without doubt. I love that idea. I was ringing one person and now I can message 10. I think it's a great idea, mate. I think it's a great idea.
All right. Thank you so much, Rod, for sharing those insights with us. I think it was a really good conversation. I love the format that we're doing this in the conversation style. I think it sparked some ideas. I hope it has sparked some of the listeners also some ideas about forum and also working from home and how do we get all our energy always alive and well. And I really look forward to having more chats with you in the future.
No problems at all. Thanks for having me, mate.
Right. Thanks, Rod. So that's it for
Take care.
today's episode. Join me again with the next one. Do subscribe and share this with all your EO peers so that it could also benefit them. And last but not least, please have a great EO APAC day. And remember, we are all in this together. Thank you very much and see you.